there's a lot going on. I mean, all the development stuff for Des Moines. I mean, you've got soccer stadium kicking off.
Right.
You've got Market District, multiple parcels have sold. You've got the Walnut Tower is going to be topped out this year. I mean, you've got the other one down off Court that is going to start. We've got a lot of units, thousands of units that are going to be going up in Des Moines property. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the residential.
From cornfields to high-rises, office to industrial, houses to hotels, and every other asset class in real estate, we cover the people, the projects, and the profit. Welcome to the Investing in Iowa show. This show is for go-doers, action takers, and business owners. It's for people like you who are sick of Uncle Sam taking a huge bite of your apple. If you're looking to get ahead of what's taking place in Iowa, learn who is doing what, and how you can get in on the action, you're in the right place. Hosted by Neil Timmins, an Iowa native who has been involved in over $300 million in real estate right here in Iowa. Recording in studio from West Des Moines. Here's your host, Neil Timmins.
I've got Adam Sieren here on the show. Adam, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Say for the audience to say, who are you, where are you from, what do you do?
So I'm Adam Sieren. I'm originally from Des Moines, and I own a company called Premier Construction. We have a few offshoots of that. I do development and management of real estate as well. So,
where are you from originally?
I grew up on the south side over by the Blank Park Zoo.
Yeah.
And the friends, we got a bike stolen when I was in like 5th grade. My parents were like, we got to get out of here. So we moved down the street to Carlisle, and I graduated from Carlisle. So, and then my parents ended up moving from there, and we kind of abandoned Carlisle, and I'm back in Des Moines. So
what'd you do after you graduated high school?
I went to college, Iowa State, jumped around, played baseball for Grandview, and then never graduated actually, and was serving food. And my buddy came up to me and said, hey man, I just made 30,000, flipped a couple houses. I'm like, what's flipping? This was like in 2002.
Okay. Yeah.
It was before Flip That House was on, you know?
Sure.
And so I walked into Wells Fargo during the stated income days, and I said, hey, here's my credit score and I want to do this. And they gave me money and I started flipping. I mean, it was easy back then.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I flipped probably from maybe 04 to 08, maybe 30 houses in and around the Des Moines area.
Yeah.
And it just taught me. I cut my teeth. I barely knew how to repair drywall. I pulled a trailer every day. I kind of got into the construction business just by default.
Doing the work?
I was doing the work. Yeah. I'm a learner. So I always had people around me that knew what they were doing. Yeah. And I would sweep behind them and I'd pull the trailer and I'd manage them. But for the most part, I'm business first, construction second. Yeah. But I learned a lot over the course of that time. And then 08 hit and I started, instead of selling houses in 3 weeks, I would sell them in, 3 months. And I would have all this inventory. So I would have to do what I called side work. Okay. And I'd go build a garage for someone, or I would go, build an addition, and that birthed Premier Construction.
Incredible. It's amazing when, call it times are dark, or, challenges happen, to get an understanding about why it's happening for you and then look at it as an opportunity to go pounce on something.
Absolutely. I mean, I think for me, I just have been, my confidence and my ability to not really, I care about risk, but I think if another person can do it, I can do it. So as I remember one time I built the City of Grimes concession stand, and I was such a novice. I barely knew. I got the set of prints and I went over, I said, hey, how do you read these? And sure enough, the mayor, Premier Construction, gets the City of Grimes, concession stand for the Little League. And I had no clue how to build it. And we ended up building it and not losing money on it. And you learn. Yeah. It's been just a big learning experience. So
you didn't work this hard to earn next to nothing on your money. Savings accounts barely move the needle. Tech stocks, AI stocks, it kind of feels like Vegas out there right now. Rentals, too oftentimes it means tenants, toilets, termites, and not the cash flow you were thinking. Well, so I've got an alternative. Little Guy Loans Co-Lending Fund. Qualified accredited investors are earning 10 to 11% annual passive returns. It's paid quarterly by co-lending with us alongside me on short-term first lien real estate loans right here in the greater Des Moines area. Your money's backed by a real property, not promises. It stays close to home. We've successfully funded well over $10 million in loans right here in central Iowa. So if you want steady income without headaches, click the link below in the show notes. Let's connect. We'll see if it's a fit for you. All right, so talk to me about that construction business. You launched that in that kind of '08 era. And what types of things were you focused on then? And then let's walk it kind of to current day.
So, I focused always on website. Early years, Google wasn't as big, but there was lead generation stuff. So
Sure.
it used to be Service Magic and then Angie's List. And I'd always focus on that and really use that to build my business early on.
Yeah.
And I was focusing on sunrooms and garages and a lot of the stuff we do today I was taking. And, the revenues would go from, $1 million and then they just kept going up from there. And then eventually I would get project managers and I would get off of the production side of things. And I just believe in my people. I've always really invested in my guys. I mean, my main guy's been with me 21 years. His brother's been with me 16 years. I mean, I've got guys that have been with me a lot of years. Yeah. So it's a pretty loyal team that we put together.
And we only focused on the residential side?
We do probably 30% commercial. So, we'll get random calls, whether it's a TI finish, sometimes new builds, we've done warehouse additions. So I love commercial, and we push commercial, but I don't, it's a competitive market and I take what I can get in that realm.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So 2010 on, did you invest in anything?
Yeah. So I've always been into single family homes. I've got a portfolio there, typically South Side. My single family home investment parameters are typically post 1940, concrete block foundation, cast iron, water main, sewer mains, that type of stuff. Houses that I can come in and I know the bones, probably got hardwood floors under the carpet. You know the drill. You gut it down to take all the trim and doors off, fix all the drywall and put it back together.
Yep.
I'd stay away from the 1910s and 20s just because you got plaster, you got knob and tube, you got Orangeburg. It's just, you can get good ones, but I just focus on, I've just kept that boundary in my investment portfolio. Yeah. So, and then fast forward, as investment, I have Zillow as my parameters of the areas I want to invest.
Sure.
And what got me into development, which was a crazy story, I'm sitting there watching football in September and I get a lead on my phone. And that looks like a nice $50,000 house. I said, let me go look at it. So I stopped what I was doing, drove down, went up Monona, pulled up into these apartments because the house was right there. And I get out of my truck and I look at this view that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And I've been in Des Moines my whole life and I'd never seen this angle of view. So within 2 days, I got an entire development planned.
You're standing at the top of Monona. You're looking what would be north.
Correct.
You're on a hill.
Yes.
You're at the pinnacle, the peak of the South Side, and you're looking at downtown Des Moines.
Yes. And, as I was up there was a guy across the street putting a sign in the yard. I said, hey, I'll buy that house. Take it out. So I bought the middle house on the left side of Monona, which is still a rental. And I actually bought this house. Caluzzi's owned it. Come to find out, they got it for dollars from the people the guy out of Chicago that bought the apartments. Yeah. And they turn around and sell it to me for 55, which is whatever. That's the game. And so I got the two, and then there was an empty lot below me where a house had been demolished. Got that guy's name, and it was some young banker that had plans. Okay. So I met with him the next day, and he's like, listen, you're pretty motivated here. This is above my pay grade. I'm going to sell it. I'll sell it to you. I want out of it. So anyway, some acquisitions on the hillside, ended up getting it all put together. So, and that kind of sparked my development spirit.
What year was that?
Boy, I don't even know if I know a year, Neil. Was it 5 years ago? Maybe. So maybe 22, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
21. All right. So you got the property and you're like, all right, time to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
putting up townhomes or condos.
Just like Joe Gatto tells me, he's like, man, Sieren, you got some of the biggest, down there for coming into this side of town and doing that and seeing that vision. And, it humbles me seeing what it is today. And it's, it's definitely a nice property, and I'm thankful for the city to come in and put the investment in the area. And luckily the apartments were acquired and we were able to remodel those for $4 or $5 million. So the area has been changed over the course of the years, and now it's almost completely cleaned up. So it's really good.
It looks, when you head south, you're going over 9th and you see that. I mean, it is incredible.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Very sharp what you've done there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very unique product. And how they look. You typically, you don't see it there.
Yep. It was inspired. I like to go to Mexico a lot. Yeah. And I was inspired by my travels to Mexico, to Tulum, kind of that boxy masonry stucco architecture.
I wonder what the genesis of that was.
Yeah. It was, and I just really kind of like that architectural design. And so I threw it out there, and I like it. So it's pretty cool.
All right. So that's the first development. And then you move
Yep.
on. Then it has bit you. And now you're on to the second one.
Yeah. So, then they come out with this 9-year tax abatement and, talking to Cody at the city and staff and kind of consulting with how that tax abatement's going to come out. It has me, Des Moines, I have relationships here.
Yeah.
And this 9-year tax abatement with this infill development is kind of why I'm sticking loyal to Des Moines. And plus, staff and council, and it's hard to, I always joke, I'm like, I don't know how these developers have relationships with all these other municipalities. It's almost like I'm cheating on Des Moines because it's hard to forge relationships with 7 council members in all these different cities.
Right.
So that's a challenge, but I like Des Moines. I like developing here, and we'll see what the future brings.
What's the next project?
We have some stuff on the plate. We got Grand that went through the rezone. I'm a little timid there because of townhouse sales in Des Moines. What's good about me as a developer is I don't have to develop because I've got my construction arm.
Sure.
It's not my only source of income.
Right.
So I don't need to go vertical and press the issue when everything's screaming. You see all these reductions in price and you see townhouses aren't moving. Why am I going vertical when I can say it's a different product? It's probably a cash buyer. It's south of Grand. It's iconic. Okay. But so I want pre-sales.
It is a unique product. What are you at? 58th, 59th, 56 in Grand,
7th, yeah.
South side of the road. I mean, there is like no townhomes in that era. Or in that area.
Correct. I'm not sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, if we've ever seen actually south of Grand a new construction townhouse.
Right. You saw condo conversions all around Grand forever ago, right?
Right.
Just apartments that converted over on the condo side, but that's been decades since that took place.
This is an opportunity. My buyer is south of Grand, 3 acres, $1.5 million house. Taxes are $40,000, 65. My kids have been gone for 10 years. Downsize, pay cash, customize it, and I'm still south of Grand. So that's I need 8 of those. So let's get selling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's going to be, we talked previous to this and I'd seen some of the plans and it looks incredible with what's planned for you to execute on there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. They should be really nice quality. I mean, you've got Simonson's project, which is, I always say, Des Moines is lucky to have such a beautiful project and how the exteriors, and it's just phenomenal. And that's just on another level.
Right.
But this is going to be, all brick. You've got stone, you've got elevators, you got limestone, precast arches in the front. I mean, it'll be a high quality product in an area that deserves it, really. Yeah.
What do you, as you look forward to this year, 26, where do you think sales go? We talked a bit before we came on here about interest rates, what's taking place in the market. There'll be a new Fed chair in this year. So where do you think this year goes?
I'm optimistic. Like I said, Trump said the golden era when he got elected, and I knew it was going to hurt a little bit first before it got better. And I'm hoping here second quarter we come out of that the tariff tinge and the hurt of the things that he's done to try to propel us forward. And I think the rates are tracking in the right direction. Absolutely. I'd like to see a couple more moves downward, obviously. I think second, third and fourth quarter of 26, we're really going to see it open up. I'd like to see it move a little before I get too ahead of the game. I'm a little timid. The rental product is great at all times.
Sure.
So for city of Des Moines, there's a ton of moving parts.
Yeah.
Tax abatements on the chopping block. I'm very frustrated that tax abatement got on the chopping block. I mean, we just rolled this out. It takes time to invest. It takes time to, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes 2 years to plan a project.
Correct.
And they put this tax abatement out, and now they're already talking about modifying it.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute. So I'm hoping they come with some good TIF. I hope they open up TIF a little more. And they've kind of told me, I think that's how they're going to help developers is it gives the city a little more control with the TIF. And they're going to give some of this money to the nonprofits, which like Invest ESN, which they do a great job. But it's definitely something to watch in Des Moines with this tax abatement.
Yeah, there's states in session right now, so there's a lot of talk about all sorts of things, including redoing property taxes statewide in terms of what that looks like. It'd be interesting to see what happens here. Knowing the governor's not running for re-election, it's going to be interesting to see what gets put on there. they're actually going to tackle and what gets tabled for the next person.
There's a lot going on. I mean, Des Moines Register just put out all the development stuff for Des Moines. I mean, you've got soccer stadium kicking off.
Right.
You've got Market District, multiple parcels have sold. You've got the Walnut Tower is going to be topped out this year. I mean, you've got the other one down off Court that is going to start. I mean, we've got some big boy, a lot of units, thousands of units that are going to be going up in Des Moines proper. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the residential.
There's no doubt about that. Are you still doing houses? Are you still flipping today or holding rentals?
No, I'm more into developing a townhouse for rent. I'm not really into the single family much anymore. But if something comes across my desk, I'll make the investment. But unfortunately, I've found home runs, so they're for sale. Yeah. I don't want to sell. Yeah. I want to develop and keep long term.
Sure.
But I keep finding, like South of Grand, I can't rent that product. They wouldn't even allow me to put a product in there for $300. So I just keep finding these sites, unfortunately, that demand a little more value. But ideally, I find stuff that I could develop and rent for long term.
Yeah. How do you manage your product?
I have a team of my premier team. I have 2 guys that work for me and also manage my properties. So I have a software and if something is a request, they would manage that request. So it's nice having the development side, the construction side, and the management side. It's all interlocking as you know. So it works well. It's not perfectly oiled, but been in business 22 years. It helps.
If you're a house flipper, execute the burst strategy, or do double closings and are in need of money, Little Guy Loans is your go-to lender here in the Des Moines area. Time is money. Loan approvals in 24 hours. Closings in 5 days. Little Guy Loans was founded by Neil Timmins, an investor just like you. Since he has been in over 10,000 homes in Des Moines, there's never an appraisal. Houses, multifamily, and commercial property loans up to $1 million. Check out www.littleguyloans.com.
What's the most challenging aspect of what you do?
For me personally, it's been infrastructure and processes. I have never worked for a Wells Fargo. I've never worked for a principal. So my Achilles heel my entire career has been implementing processes that if I would have worked for principal for 6 years, I would have seen how strict and how they put these processes in place. Coming from just a waiter, it's been an interesting journey to create these processes. Yeah. I remember when I first wanted to train a project manager, I called Jamie Myers. I said, Jamie, I don't even know how to do this. How do I get these subs to quit calling me? I need a project manager. So we went to lunch and he kind of talked about it. And it was probably 15 years ago. And it was a thing to get these people that relied on me off to another person's management. And now, obviously, we're training project managers all the time. Right. But it was really a challenge for me to figure out how to do that. Now looking back on the growth and the wisdom that you have with age, it's funny to look back on that. Yeah. So
2026, what are you most excited about?
Oh, there's so much to be excited about. I'm excited politically to watch what unfolds. I hope that it's going to be interesting. I like the direction, but I think we're going a little fast in a few areas. So I think we need to slow down a little bit. I'm interested to see the new Fed chair and what the rates do and the confidence he can give the buyers. Rates go down, it's going to spark the mortgage market. The real estate market's going to, open up a little bit. Hopefully people move and we'll have inventory, more inventory shift there. I think we just need product moving. I mean, our business has really been hurt by these rates and buyer sentiment. So I really want to see that move.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. If rates get to a certain spot, whatever rates hit a particular spot, it would unlock inventory, right? Because there's a bunch of us's out there with, 3%, sub 4% mortgages. So if rates can touch, 4.99, I don't know what the right number is, but
right.
Certainly if they hit in the fours, you can probably justify giving up that 3.75 to go to the house that you're excited about, paying a little more interest.
You would think that although I had the best year in 25 premieres ever had, but I feel like the remodel market is suffering a little bit with these rates as well. You would think it wouldn't because people are staying put and putting the addition on or remodeling what they have because they don't want to move. But I feel like the remodel market, things are tight. People are holding on to their money a little bit tighter and kind of waiting to see what happened. I think 26 is that year that people are going to really start getting comfortable to let things go.
Do you think that's access to cash, meaning that they're tapping lines of credit, putting a second mortgage in place? That has become more challenging to do, and it's become more expensive to do.
Absolutely.
Which is what softens that remodel component.
Yes, the remodel, the market follows the rates as well, because many times people are tapping equity, and that second mortgage is more expensive even than the first mortgage.
Right.
So they're seeing the rates on that HELOC, and they're just sitting tight, waiting for that magic number.
If you had to guess, what percentage of the clientele on your remodel business pay cash versus tap equity?
Boy, we've got a 3-part thing. We've got inheritance that pays for these jobs. We've got,
is that material? I mean, a material size of the business?
15%.
Wow. That's significantly heavier than what I would have guessed.
Yeah, inheritance is a thing, obviously. Then cash is probably the smallest portion. Mm. And then HELOC would be
the lion's share.
The lion's share of it, yes. And rarely on the remodel side is the bank involved, which means I'm rarely having to do inspections. It's cash.
Yeah, they've tapped the equity in their house. It's coming to you in a cash format.
So. Correct. Yeah. Which is kind of nice. Yeah, whereas you got the new construction. I do 1 or 2 custom homes a year, maybe, and those are always the banks are involved, and the drill there. But I would say home equity would be the number one source of funds for the remodel side. Or another thing is the mom's coming in and we're building the mother-in-law quarters and she's selling her house and she's dumping the $300,000 into, the basement or addition so mom can come live. That's more common than you would think. So
I would think never.
He wants the mother-in-law. Yeah.
I'm kidding, of course.
Right.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah. I was well, that second mortgage world is interesting. Why do people, do you have these conversations with folks? Do you have a pulse of, if rates come down, is that remodel person likely to move, or are they just likely to remodel and maybe spend even a little more money in the remodel, given that tapping their equity has become less expensive?
I think people inherently want to stay put. I think that, especially in a more conservative state, in my opinion, we're not as nomadic as the Austins and the other bigger cities. I think people want to stay put. So remodeling, you've got familiarity, you've got neighborhood. It takes a lot to move and shake and move, right? And people are conservative here in Iowa. So remodeling and additions and that such are more common, in my opinion, which why we've been able to flourish in the remodel sector.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Well, incredible. Well, I'm learning a lot about remodels. I appreciate this because it helps give me a little more food for thought relative to what's the likelihood of people, us tapping into new inventory if rates come down. Which one's more likely to happen? Probably see a combination of everything.
Yeah. And as far as the development side, I'm excited for Des Moines. I'm excited for our count. We have a good council. We lost Chris, but he's going to go on and do some things. We're going to be losing Joe, most likely to supervisor. Des Moines has some people are scared of Des Moines. I think there's a lot of developers that came here and they got burned.
Sure.
And it's few and far between. You've got more red tape. You've got a little more difficult. You got higher taxes. We've got the schools sometimes people say that we're dealing with. So Des Moines is not the developer's favorite place to be. So I'm hoping this council understands that and keeps the incentives there. And I'm excited to continue to make Des Moines a better place to live and do projects that are fun and exciting and are noted. And that's kind of my passion, really. I mean, I've been in the remodel business so long. When I get a development, I'm full time.
That's right.
I'm in front. I spend more time on the GIS than I do bidding remodel jobs.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun new passion of mine.
Adam, you ready for the final 3 questions?
Do it.
If you had one piece of advice for your 20-year-old self, what would it be?
You would do that. Well, I've always been, I think about, hey, be more open to learning, but I really have always been pretty coachable. I would say work harder at trying to get someone in the organization that could have implemented processes. That's what I would have done at that age. Mm-hmm. Whereas I'm hiring someone that is maybe 7, 8 years older than me that came from a whites and they could have really came in and helped those processes and we could have refined things earlier.
2 books that changed your life.
Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren.
Great.
I read that in my early 20s, and I'm a Christian, and that's a really good book for anyone that would want to read that. And I would say Good to Great by Jim Collins. So
if you were cast away on an island for a year, you could only get 3 pieces of data about your business each and every month. What 3 things must you know each and every month to know how your business is running?
Wow. Well, I'd be on an island. Do I get a corona while I'm on the island? 3 pieces of information. Well, what are the sales? Are we getting any phone calls, and are we moving work? Obviously, the continued cash flow and how costs are, and job costs, and the labor. And, are my employees happy? Or is everyone, the sentiment without me there, and the sentiment of everyone? Because believe it or not, sentiment's a big deal.
Huge.
I mean,
Culture matters.
Yes, the culture's huge. I mean, these guys recently I had a employee where he was having his old buddy that was starting a construction company giving him a hard time and had nothing to do with our company. And he's down and out for like 2 weeks because of the pressures of this other guy that meant nothing to it. So, you're babysitting, and culture's a big deal. So I'm always interested in how my guys feel.
Adam, I have lots of questions. What's one question I did not ask that I should have asked?
Oh, well, it's not anything to do with business, but how's my family?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
No, it's just, I just got a new wife of 3 years and a blended family, and it couldn't be better. And we enjoy traveling as kind of our passion. So everything I do that you see me do and work toward, I'm kind of an adventuresome guy. So I enjoy that.
You do travel a lot. What's the most exciting place you've ever been to?
Oh, wow. Well, I love Italy. Italy's kind of my new favorite country. We're going to China we're going to South Korea and China in the fall, but Italy is on the top of my list. It's just I've only done Rome south.
Okay.
So I haven't done Florence yet in the north, but it's just the food, the people, the vibe, the clothing, the style. It's just everything seems to be served me very well in Italy. I really enjoy it. We were actually in the Vatican the day the Pope was elected. So that was a pretty cool experience. So yeah. It's everything. It's what I work for. I love to meet new people. I love cultures. I love having my kids. My kids have traveled all over. Yeah. I'd send my 13-year-old on a plane anywhere right now by himself, which that I have value there.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
You want to know how small we are and how much you don't know, just get on a plane, go someplace, go to a different country.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And how much history is outside of here. At the end of the day, I was a baby.
It is.
There's not that. When you go back to Rome, for example, you're going back, millennia at that point.
Right. It's very interesting. And it makes you understand when you have problems and you think they're huge. And we're just, Des Moines, we think we're amazing, and we are, but we're just such a small piece of the metropolis of all of the world. Yeah. And it makes you not really feel small, but we need to always be humbled. And I think that the travel and seeing the world and seeing other things really, really humbles you.
Adam, this has been great. I appreciate your time. For people that want to find you, follow you, connect with you, where can they go? What should they do?
PremierConstructionDM.com is the easiest way. I've got a couple cool projects. So I think that if you know anyone that is looking for a custom townhouse south of Grand, I'm looking for a couple buyers, but it's been great being on here, and I appreciate all you do for the business community as well.
It's my honor. Links below in the show notes. Adam, thanks for being here.
All right, thanks, Neil. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the show, may I ask a favor of you? Naturally, subscribe so you never miss an episode. But would you rate and leave an honest written review on Apple Podcasts? It does a lot for us here at the show, and I appreciate reading your thoughts. Great guests make for a great show. If you know of another island who would be a great guest, or you yourself have interest in being a guest, well, get on our radar. Visit Investing in Iowa to fill out an application or recommend a guest. And if you want to connect with me one-on-one, go to LegacyImpactInvestors.com. Click on the Invest With Us button in the top right corner, and there you can pick a time for the two of us to get on the calendar and connect. Until next time, keep investing in Iowa.